All right, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So first bullet for us to work through is the additions and adjustments to the agenda by board and or superintendent. There is one addition that we need to add. I recommend making it action 6B. We need to review legislative articles that are up for vote. And this is a late add, and board members, this should be coming, if you're online, this should be coming into your email. And Diane is supporting us here in person. So we will get to that, as well as adding a recess after Mandy does her presentation.
Did we do roll call?
Yes, we can do an official roll call as well. We'll do that now.
Okay, Wendy Brodron.
Here.
Kristen Dubois.
Here.
David G.
Here.
Annie.
Here.
Dan.
Yes, here.
And Noah.
Here.
And Leslie.
Here.
Patricia.
Here.
And is Chad online?
He's not looked to be online.
Okay. And Sean is absent. Brian Tarbuck.
Here.
David T.
Here.
And that's it.
That's it. All right, so following the adjustment we just made, the next item up would be citizens' comments, but we have currently no audience today that is in here, and it does not look as though anybody is online. Diane stepped away momentarily, so if someone is there, please hold, and we can come back to you. That will move us into a presentation, budget presentation, the interim superintendent Smith and the finance director Fitzgerald, which we may not be able to do without Diane either. Because there would be a presentation that goes up. Gotta have Diane.
Is there anything you could just talk about budget-wise?
I got a time kill thing for a minute. Wait for Diane to get back. Should we go ahead with that, Leslie?
We can, yeah.
Okay. I talked to Sean today. He told me to be here. And after Sean came to the community cafe last Thursday, presented for the school board, a really rich discussion came out of that. And it had me thinking about, Mrs. King, who was here at our board meeting the week prior, and David's question on should school board members be in schools, and her answer initially no, but they said yes if you're asked there. So it just got me thinking on a number of things, and Sean's conversation with our community members. And I shared it with Sean earlier today, and I'm just sharing with you, all of you, after, and something I'm hoping for discussion in a couple of weeks on how to move us back to what we used to have, and it's not just our school, it's societal. It's hard for volunteers. There have been concerns about communication and how to just get the community aspect back. So I'm just sending out something on that. Hopefully you can all read it. I'm not prescribing a lot of like, do this, is just like, let's see what we can do in the structure. I know everyone wants to improve the engagement and communication. So I'm gonna send that out after the meeting for us to look at, hopefully talk about in a couple of weeks.
How did that community cafe go? I heard good things. But
I thought it went great. Well, it went great in terms of the community members turnout was awesome. Sean's presentation, and you had such a variety there. Many who were retired teachers or have been board members, and a bunch of them had volunteers with their kids growing up and grandchildren. I didn't really see that part coming, but it was a really good conversation, I think. And got me thinking about some things I hadn't thought about. So that's a sign of good conversation. What was not so hot is we didn't have any kids there. But Michelle's on that, I think, what might not be in the school, and Rick, like, it's just taking some work in at there, but we'll get that there, she's committed, because that's a big part of it. But we're on that, and Jen, the regional volunteer coordinator, is awesome, and I have faith in it.
So it sounds like some good ideas for community engagement that bridges into communication group.
Yep. And a lot of people just saying that here's an opportune time. So, the combination of those got me thinking, and I put this in together, I'll send it out to you all. Not prescriptive, but like, I know everyone wants to go in that direction.
Sounds good, we'll look for it.
And here's Diane, see, that was just about right.
It was just right around time.
As a teacher, I know I can fill whatever time I want.
Perfect, thank you. Back to our finance director and interim superintendent presentation for the budget. Great.
So this is obviously the start of the 26-27 budget workshop, budget season, our favorite time of the year.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
You can go to the next slide, Diane. So the first slide just kind of talks about budget goals and our focus for today. So you guys set your budget goal when you did board goals last week or the week before. So the budget goal is to maintain fiscal responsibility while balancing the needs of all members of the RSU 38 communities. And so I think it's pretty self-explanatory what our goals are. I mean, we want to make sure that we provide the needs for the students while still being fiscally responsible to all our taxpayers. Today's focus is on budget committee responsibilities, the budget process, and I'm just going to do a quick overview of the warrant articles, and then we'll do an overview of the timeline. So these are the budget committee responsibilities. For some of you, these may be new as you're new to the board, but these are the same responsibilities that we had listed last year. It's financial planning. The committee oversees and helps develop the district's annual budget, ensuring the funds are allocated efficiently across various departments and programs. Prioritization, the committee helps identify and prioritize the district's financial needs, balancing competing demands and limited resources. Accountability, the committee ensures that the budget aligns with the district's goals. Long-term planning, the committee considers long-term financial implications and helps develop multi-year plans and projections. Policy recommendations, the committee may recommend policy changes to improve fiscal management. And compliance, the committee ensures the district complies with state and federal regulations governing school finance. So some of the things that we have done in the budget committee is, we will have the different directors come in and give an overview of what their plan is. Just as an example, Diane will show a 4 or 5 year plan of technology that needs to be purchased to keep us up to date on, all students and staff having the latest technology, or our copier systems or our phone systems sometimes fall into that. And so she'll usually do that. Another example of that is our facilities director will usually also give, and he does that in the facilities committee as well, but then also brings it to the budget committee, any recommendations of large projects that may need to be done, or just kind of a plan over the next 4 to 5 years of things that he knows are larger items that are going to need to be addressed. So those are just some of the examples. The next slide talks about the budget process. So we start the budget process, obviously, this early. So I will get out sheets that I give to all the principals, directors, anybody that's in charge of a budget for their department. And so we give out request sheets. It shows their previous year's budget, and then they look at what their needs are for the next year. If a budget line is pretty consistent, then they'll keep that budget status quo. Sometimes they may look at their expending more in one line and less in another, so they may need to shift funds so that the needs are being met in the appropriate budget line. So they'll go through their budgets and they'll look at where their needs are. They'll submit those to me. Then usually the superintendent and I will meet. We go over what their requests are. If there are any new requests, so something that's not normally in their budget, we usually take a look at that and see, what that type of request is, how expensive that request is. And then those are things that we would bring to the budget committee to say, is this something the board's willing to add to the budget? Because this is a significant addition to the budget. So, sometimes it may just be a request of, changing a position a little bit, and it may not, be a huge budgetary item per se. But anything that's a significant budgetary item would definitely go to the budget committee. So just something we're gonna do differently this year is we are meeting, I'm having Mandy meet with all administrators.
I don't think your mic is on.
It's on, you're not close enough.
Okay, sorry. Mandy's going to meet with all administrators and directors early on in November and go over this in person about their budget sheets and to complete them and to kind of field some questions. So we're going to do a workshop with the admin and directors, and then they can go on their own and work on their budgets. Obviously, Mandy's going to be available to any questions that they may have in the meantime. But we're hoping that all admin and directors getting the same message at once is hopefully going to help them in completing their budgets and addressing their questions that they have that typically come up.
Yep, so we'll do that at the beginning of November when I give them the request. We'll do that workshop session with them. And then they have to have their request back to me before they leave for Thanksgiving. And then I will spend the next couple of weeks looking at that information and trying to get that information entered. If there's anything that needs to be vetted by the committee, then we would hold off on entering that, but I enter the things that are pretty status quo per se, so that we can start that, getting the budget prepped. And then our first budget committee meeting is in December, so we'll take a look at that together and start deliberating on what the first draft budget needs to look like, the first draft budget will be presented in January. And then, of course, from there, we continue to meet with the budget committee and then bring full drafts back to the board as each draft moves on. So if there's any input by the full board or the committee to make any changes, then I would do so before the next draft is due. And you'll see at the end, we have an actual timeline of when we plan to have first draft, second draft, third draft, and so on. And then just to kind of, go over again, so then you vote on the final draft budget in April as a board. Once the board votes on that final draft, then it goes to annual meeting in May and needs to be voted on by the taxpayers. And then if that's voted and approved in May, it goes to referendum in June. And then we meet again after the June referendum vote the next day to finalize the referendum vote. And then if that all gets approved at each of those steps, then the budget is adopted July 1. The next slide just breaks out the warrant articles. So you'll see we start with Article 2. Not every district does that, and so you'll see some districts only have 11 and not 12 as their top articles. Ours is because our first article we vote for our moderator. But so we have Articles 2 through 12, which are budgetary. I did provide in your handouts, you will see there's a sheet with small type, I apologize, but to get everything kind of on there, it's a breakdown of what's in each of these articles. So you'll see Article 2 here, high level is regular instruction, but if you want to know in a little bit more detail, you can see on that sheet that I gave you what regular instruction consists of. So you'll see it's K-8 instruction, K-8 field trips, K2 instruction, pre-K instruction, 9-12 instruction, 9-12 field trips, ELL, which I think now we call ESOL. Or we call it multilingual. It gets a new name every year or two. So, and then alt ed and gifted and talented. So that's just what's in regular instruction. And then Article 3 is special education. Again, I won't read each of these to you. You have that list there, but you can see what falls in each of these articles. Article 4 for us, these are mandatory articles, so we do have to report on them, but we do not have Article 4. This is career and tech, and we don't do that in-house. So we don't have to have an article, well, we have to have a $0 article for that. Article 5 is other instruction. This is where summer school is housed. And then your co and extracurricular are housed there as well. Article 6 is student supports. These are things like guidance, technology, nursing, etc. Article 7 is your system admin, which that is the superintendent's office, school board expenses, and things like that. School administration is your principals. Article 9 is transportation. I think that one's self-explanatory. Same with Article 10. This is your facilities and maintenance. Article 11, again, is a mandatory article. We, at this time, do not have any dollar amount that goes into this article for us. And then Article 12 is other expenditures, which is school nutrition and outside transportation, such as our summer school, not our summer school, our summer programs that we offer transportation for.
It says reimburse. Is it?
I'm sorry.
It says reimburse.
Yeah, so we get reimbursement for that, which goes into our revenue. We count that as part of our revenue. So like it would be for our, the Y camp. We do busing for the Y camp, and then we can get reimbursed from the Y for that. We bill them.
Okay.
But it
That
is
sounds
calculated
good.
in part of our revenue. Yep,
Thank you.
yep.
My question had to do with debt service. Lease purchase agreements we have are not part of that.
Correct. Yep, so lease purchases, depending on what they are allocated in that department. Like we have a facilities lease purchase, and that's in facilities. We have a tech lease purchase, and that's in support services.
So if it's like a 4-year lease purchase, just equally divided among the 4 years is just general expense?
Yes, yep, so like transportation, if we have a bus purchase,
Yeah.
that's right in your transportation warrant article. Yep.
Thank you.
The next couple of slides just show who, these are the people that we'll be meeting with, your administrators and your directors that we'll be meeting with in November to give the request to. And it shows how they impact these different warrant articles. So you can see, like just at the top, right now, Michelle LaForge is the principal for the high school and middle school. And any requests that she puts in will impact warrant articles 2, 6, and 8. And so you can see, I won't read these all to you, but you can see how each of these principles impact each of these warrant articles based on the requests that they put in for. Some of them may only impact one warrant article, but your principles will impact the most. They impact 3. On the next screen, you have some of your other areas like gifted and talented, technology, co and extracurricular, and stuff like that. Again, a lot of these only impact one article, but again, their requests are part of the budget. I don't know if anybody has any questions on warrant articles or requests. The next page is just the upcoming meeting schedule. So this shows both budget committee meetings as well as actual budget workshop meetings, and then you can see when each draft is due. So in December, we have a budget committee meeting on the 10th. Then we have another one January 7th with the intent to have the first draft budget January 21st. And then again, we have a committee meeting after that, and your second draft February 11th, another budget committee meeting for February 25th, and your third draft anticipated for March 18th. And if we need to go beyond a third draft, then the next budget committee meeting would be April 1st, and vote for a final draft, fourth draft, on April 15th. So this is our intended schedule right now, and then annual meeting is May 13th, referendum is June 9th, and then the business workshop meeting to accept the referendum would be June 10th. And the next one is just questions or discussions. I also, in your packet, you'll see that we did do another breakdown of that budget timeline that was in the presentation. So if you wanted to see that, that's there as well.
Thank you, that's very helpful.
Very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a quick overarching question, I guess. Is this process helpful to you, or is it really a lot of work? There's a lot of meetings you'd have to go to, but is that additional engagement help? It seemed to be a better process last year than it was the prior year, so I don't know how that translates to your work.
It is extra work. I'm not going to say it's not. But I thought it was a good process last year. I thought it went well. I thought there were some meaningful discussions in the committee meetings that don't always transpire in a larger group, and they are still open to the public. So, I mean, people can still attend those meetings if they want to. But I did feel that there were some good questions asked. We did have a few parents that came to some of the latter meetings that we had. So yeah, the hard part for me in the budget season is not hearing from people until we're ready to vote. We need to hear that stuff sooner. And so I feel like the budget committee did allow us to do that to some extent. So I think that was helpful.
Mandy or Karen, is there anything in terms of what's been going on in terms of federal government changes or cuts that has been a wild card that you already know about? Or I know you can't see around corners, but obviously there's a level of uncertainty right now, right?
Yeah, so as of right now, the federal funding that we get, I don't want to say that it's minimal, but it's not as damaging as other school districts for certain. So we get roughly around $650,000 in federal funding for local entitlement and ESEA funding. So it would definitely hurt, but not as bad as some districts, certainly. And as of right now, we have all the funding we need for this year, and we don't anticipate any issues. But I mean, political climate, right? I mean, I can't. But as of right now, you know, there are no major concerns coming out of DOE that we're going to lose that funding. So.
Brian?
Just one other quick question. So what's the, is is health insurance still kind of the boogeyman for you, where we don't really get those numbers until late in the process? And I recall last year
Yeah,
that we were able to have a budget that worked well, but it was not a big tax increase, which was well received. Is it still the same this year? I mean, just a lot of unknowns around health insurance, because I think people need to understand that you know, there aren't a lot of levers to pull, right? You have a certain number of employees you need to have, the buses have to work, you have to pay health insurance, honor contracts, those kinds of things. So I think the messaging side is that a lot of this stuff is just nothing anybody can do.
Yeah.
I was just thoughtful about what you might have for headwinds.
So unfortunately, I mean, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, I mean, you know, nearly right around 80% of our budget is staffing, right? So staffing have negotiated increases that there's nothing we can do about that is what it is. And health insurance, again, you can't predict what people are going to take for health insurance and what they're not. And so, you know, and we have no choice over what Anthem says, this is your increase, this is your increase. Dental isn't as big of an impact to us as Anthem is, but Anthem is definitely a significant impact to us. Some other things that we don't have control over that can be huge impacts are, you know, fuel costs, heating costs, and then liability insurance. You know, we had one year where it went up 24% in 1 year. I mean, we don't have a choice over that. And a lot of that had to do with, you know, COVID and I mean, you know, cost of lumber, right? So when things like that go up, then that means liability insurance is going up, because now if you have a repair to a major building, the cost to repair it is going up because the materials are going up. So those are things people don't generally think about. Also, the other thing is supplies, you know, general school supplies. You know, teachers are putting in for school supplies, and those costs went up as well too. So, and again, those are things that are hard to, you know, we don't want to say you can't get those supplies because the cost went up, and, you know, there's supplies that they need. So again, those are things that we just have to kind of absorb.
Something that we have to do is we have to report our numbers to the state. And right now, we're working very diligently on doing our staffing reporting and our student reporting. Diane McGregor and I have been working on that for the student, Mandy, and you know, finance, HR. We're all working on the staffing report. This is essential for our ED 279 and what we get for school funding. If anyone is attending the the MSMA conference next week, I think it's really important to attend the sessions that talk about the ED 279. I think that is really critical for people to understand that that's how our state funding works. And, you know, economically disadvantaged has been the one that has been the most struggle for many districts through COVID, through now that we have our, you know, federal lunch program paying for. So we're working this final push to get all families to fill out those forms so that we're capturing those students that would qualify as economically disadvantaged, because that impacts our funding.
Yeah, when we made that form mandatory, I think it was last year or the year before, that really had a good impact on our funding. So, yeah, that form is super critical.
And I'm guessing a family fills that out, it's called confidential anyway, it goes into.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And it has you know, it doesn't have anything to do with school lunch anymore, that particular form.
Yeah,
so
the metric is gone
Yeah.
now, so it's hard to.
Yep.
Super critical, though.
Any further questions or discussion? Thank you, Mandy. That's really helpful. And it's helpful to outline that budget process that's coming and remind people that folks can come to those budget meetings. They're open for public to attend. But reach out to any of your representatives if you want more information or you're struggling to find information on where it is or when it is. And I know we're all willing to help. So with that, because we want to take some time to review the new information we have, to review legislative articles that are up for a vote, we're going to take a 10-minute recess at this time. Thank you. Okay, so we are back
We're gonna vote
from
on
recess. So we do have a few action items here. Action 6A, we need to vote on the Maine School Board Association delegate.
I would like to nominate Noah Easter as our MSBA delegate.
Second.
Moved by Wendy, second by Pat. Any questions, discussions?
Thank you, Noah.
Any addition, do we need to ask, any additional nominations? None? No one wants this very badly? Move to a vote?
Wendy,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
David G,
Yes.
Annie,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Noah,
Abstain.
Leslie,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
David T.
Yes.
So moved.
Have fun. But thank you for taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so the second action item was we took a short recess in order to review a document. We reviewed the legislative articles, the document that has proposed additions, edits, and deletions. And at this point, we would like to ask if there's any questions about what is in the document as it was reviewed. At this point, any questions? Online? What we'd like, oh, Wendy?
I have more of a comment. I was wondering if after the meeting, maybe at our next meeting, Noah could tell us how everything went.
That would be good. So Noah attends the meeting on Saturday. So if there is not any questions, I think we could move to pass the document as it's presented to us, and Noah would move on our behalf in that way. Should you have a question after this, I would say you're not limited. Reach out to Noah. Don't reply all to the email where we received the document, but reach out to Noah and let him know what you have for questions. Motion to move? So take a vote based on everybody's, or do we need to make a motion?
It's a straw poll. We can take a motion and entertain a straw poll.
Okay,
It's not like an official board vote, but we just need to let Noah know how the board would like for him to vote on Saturday.
okay. So currently taking a straw poll around passing the document that has additions, edits, and deletions. And I think we can't still thumbs up with people online. We still maybe just have to make our way through. All right, go ahead, Karen.
Okay, so the motion for the straw poll to take it
Is
all
to
in
pass, yes.
mass. Okay, so Wendy,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
David G,
Yes.
Annie,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
David T,
Yes.
Very good. Without Diane here previously, we had no in-the-room citizens' comments. Is there anybody online that had a citizen's comment? All right, then at this point, move to adjourn.
Second. Nice.